Hello, and welcome to Insanity Radio. I'm here with a guest today, George from Snappy-Tech.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for coming, by the way. It's not
absolutely.
An easy trip for you, is it?
No, it's a 2-hour trip, but it's my pleasure, you know. We met at the Golden Joysticks first, and then we were at the PC Gamer Weekender, and I was like, guys, I'd love to come down, and now I'm here.
So you're a founder of an app called Snappy-Tech. Do you want to talk about...
Yes, so Snappy-Tech is actually a YouTube channel. We create videos on a daily basis-ish. It's about 5 videos a day. We also have an Android app which lets you keep up with that. So it's a very busy life. You know, there's working the 9 to 5 and then making the YouTube videos. As I mentioned, we were at PC Gamer Weekender together. I'm actually at another event next week, which we're going to be covering over the course of 2 days for many, many more videos.
Oh wow, which event is that? Maybe our listeners will be interested.
Yeah, so it's actually mostly commercial based, but it's to do with it's actually cloud related, so it's more sort of enterprise technology as opposed to consumer tech. But they also have sort of IoT, and there's so much going on, but we thought we couldn't help but turn up and just see what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what kind of topics do you cover in Snappy-Tech in general?
So yeah, it's as I mentioned, it's primarily technology. It's also usually consumer tech, you know, things like phones, laptops,
the latest
computers,
Switch.
The Nintendo Switch, which you guys were talking about last week, and yeah. I'm still up in the air about. I'm not sure whether or not I want to buy one. I am so tempted.
So, other host Saeed is purely against Nintendo.
Yes, absolutely. But it's interesting because I watched the...
Purely biased.
Yeah, no bias whatsoever. I was watching the launch live, and it was really interesting because you see the PS4 launch or the Xbox One launch, and everyone's talking about how cutting edge the specs are and how fast the processor runs. Yet, Nintendo, when they did their launch, did nothing with that. They just went, this is a device that is designed for families to have fun. You have 2 really interesting controllers, and just go have fun with it.
Exactly. That's what I think is quite nice about the console itself. A lot of people tend to disagree about that very same thing, that it's too gimmicky and it's kind of moving away from the whole purpose of just a console in general.
We'll have to definitely wait and see though, because what's interesting is you look at the technology within the Joy-Con controllers. Those things cost £70 to get a full replacement set. They're not cheap. But the technology within them is frankly ridiculous.
Does that include the small screen as well?
No. So the controllers are just the two Joy-Cons, like
the 2 attachments on the side.
Yeah, the 2 attachments on the sides. Those things have an IR camera built in, which is currently used just for that within 1-2 Switch. There's that like burger eating game.
Yeah.
So those things can sense depth and movement, which is actually interesting.
Is that called the Rumble Tech? I believe it's called.
They also have HD Rumble, which which means that they have sort of a mystery marbles in a box game, which works for sort of when you move it, it almost feels like they're actually there. It's some really interesting technology, and we'll have to wait and see where it leads to.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, what do you think of the songs that came up so far? Did you enjoy any?
Yeah, I've actually been. So I was actually. I've been at a uni this past weekend. I was visiting a friend, and we were listening to the Ed Sheeran album non-stop. It's a little bit sad, to be completely honest. That thing, we've been listening to it on repeat. It's just so good, and I think it broke like loads of Spotify records for most played song. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing the fan base behind it as well. I know a friend of mine. She has leukemia.
Right.
And Ed Sheeran visited her in the hospital.
Wow, that's nice.
Such a sweet guy.
Ed Sheeran is just such a nice guy.
I know.
Ed, if you're listening, which you're probably not, but Ed, if you're listening in, come, like, call me. We can
I'm
do
more of
something.
a rock person, but even I appreciate Ed Sheeran.
What's really funny though is Ed Sheeran isn't the guy, but like in my head, I don't picture Ed Sheeran with tattoos, and he has those 2 like sleeve tattoos, and I see it, I'm like, oh my god, that's Ed Sheeran with tattoos.
It's absolutely crazy. So right now, coming up now, we got Rich Boy by Galantis and Big for Your Boots by Stormzy and Man, I Will Feel Like a Woman, Shania Twain.
All very good songs.
All very good songs. Coming up now.
Welcome back.
You just took
here
my
again.
moment, really. I was just like, hand signals. 5, 4, 3.
I couldn't
2,
help it.
and then you just
I'm
had
sorry.
to.
It just had to happen. It just had to.
You cut the cue, man. You cut
Yeah,
the cue.
I'm sorry. It's just, what can I say? I'm excited to be here.
Why don't you get your own show then?
That's a good question. Why don't I get my own
I
show?
don't know. We'll see how
Ooh.
it goes. Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll see. We're too. That's the issue. I'm too far away. It's like a 2-hour journey anytime I want to come up here.
Yeah. So we were talking about like the fit, like everything you've been doing so far for the app and so far. What any interesting topics that's come up recently that you want to like share with the rest of the world?
It's interesting that you ask, because in the world of technology, it's constantly evolving, and with Mobile World Congress happening, what was a couple weeks ago at this point, we have a lot of cool technology to look at. And by cool, I obviously mean the Nokia 3310. Like, you know, the most cutting edge of phones. So they've remade that old brick phone. It's going to cost roughly £40. We'll have to wait and see for UK
How's
pricing.
the battery life? Because I remember my old Nokia phone.
That's the interesting thing.
I used to have one phone in my old school uniform.
Yep.
And I left it in there for a couple of years, and it still had battery in it when I picked it up.
So here's the thing, they've actually increased the battery life on that thing. So the battery itself is only something like 900 milliamp hours, which if you look at something like an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy, you think that's not that much. However, the phone isn't a fully featured smartphone. It's a feature phone. It has a web browser, but it uses 2.5G, so you wouldn't want to be browsing the web with it anyway. So that means that the battery lasts a whopping 31 days on standby, and you get something like 28 hours, I want to say off the top of my head, of talk time.
This is the phone probably parents would get their children, really, wouldn't it?
So yeah, this falls under a couple of use cases. This is either a child's first phone, this is your second phone, so if you ever need a backup phone because you're traveling, or if you're
Of course, yeah.
if you're going into the US, you don't want to take your main phone because God knows what they'll do to that. But it's something you want as your secondary phone, and even in developing countries, you know, somewhere that, like places like India, where you can't afford an iPhone, for example, and you just want something that can make calls.
Also, not every place in the world has the luxury of like electrical outlets or charging stations in general.
Exactly, 24/7 power is a luxury we have that many people don't.
No.
So it's useful to have something that lasts for a while, and that you can just you can rely on. We'll have to see about the durability, and it comes in 3 different colours that are all just as vibrant as each other, but it looks good.
So how is the interface on the phone? Is it like you press the start button, you press the menu button, and then you press the little star to unlock it, like the good old days?
So visually it is very similar. Outside of that colour scheme, it's sort of slightly more tapered, so it's not as harsh on with the edges. The screen is actually colour, which is a change. So it's got a colour display, unlike the original 3310. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that because it's colour, it doesn't count as a 3310. They should have called it like the 3410 or the 3610, just something different. But other than that, it is remarkably similar. It has that same T9 keyboard. So if you want S, you have to press the number 7 4 times, which totally isn't an issue, I promise.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Important question. Everyone's going back in their nostalgia chairs right now and thinking about their old Nokia phones. I know I am.
Yeah.
Will it have Snake and Bounce?
I'm glad you asked, because it has its own special version of Snake.
Oh,
it
really?
has Colour Snake on it.
Colour Snake?
Colour Snake.
Because, let me just point this out. I had this old Nokia phone, but right after I had my Nokia brick phone, and it had Snake 3D.
Yeah.
And I did not enjoy it at all. Is it similar to the Snake 3D, or is it similar to the Snake 2D that we all know and love?
So it is in 2D. I can't comment specifically on how the game plays. I've seen sort of very, very little snippets of gameplay. I haven't had a chance to play it myself. But it looks all right. And for a phone that all you want to be doing is making phone calls and playing a bit of Snake on, it's cool, I have to say.
It sounds cool. It sounds fun.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't a phone that you're gonna replace like an iPhone or your Samsung Galaxy phone with, but it's nice to have, and at £40, it's definitely affordable.
Of course, yeah. So what else have you got? I noticed that you are like a little shutterbug. I think that's the right word.
Yeah.
On your Facebook account.
Yeah, so I actually did. So during our little music break, I actually did my first ever Facebook live stream. I've never done a Facebook live before.
Oh really? I haven't.
It was actually
Neither
my
have I.
first.
How is it?
It's all right. I'm primarily on Snapchat. That's the issue. So I'm
okay.
usually Snapchat and vlogging. So if I'm out, sort of here for example, I've been vlogging the entire day. We've actually got my camera set up in one of the corners of the studio specifically for this. It's recording me, and as I look at it, it looks kind of scary.
The whole world is staring back right at you.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, it's nice, and I really like the sound of my own voice. But that's what you need in this kind of situation, right? I mean, we're currently wearing headphones that literally plays our voice back to us. So you have to like it to some extent.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Anyway, so right now we got a couple of songs that we finally managed to put in due to unforeseen management issues. We weren't able to put in the songs that we wanted. However, I got 2 songs I wanted, and because I'm a weeb, I got 2 anime songs, and George here has picked 2 songs of his choice: A Blame by Bastille, Light It Up by Major Lazer, and I got Great Days from Joe United and Genjo Destruction by Spire. And we'll hope to see you soon, guys. And we're back.
Hello.
Hello. You trying to set up your phone for the...
Yeah, just a bit. I'm on Facebook Live again, so I'm live right now. So if you have me on Facebook, which I highly doubt, you can go watch that. And I think we've just, in between the songs, it was a bit hectic, and I think we've decided that I'm giving away a bunch of T-shirts. I think if we want to... I have to apologise for this. I'm about to crack my microphone. There we are. Are we good? I think we're good.
Yeah,
Perfect.
You're good.
So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing a vlog. So if you check out the vlog tomorrow, then it will be like giving away a T-shirt. So make sure you do that, and we shall see. However, what are you looking forward to this week? Let me know.
Or me in general?
Yeah. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're the first person to ever ask.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm right now. I just got an exam next week, so it's just like busy. But elections are coming up.
Yes.
And all societies are busy right now. We just had a sock bowl the other day, and everyone's having fun and so on. It's just like there's this competitive nature in the air, and it's really fun and entertaining to watch and see and take part of, and that's the fun of being in a society in uni in general.
Yeah, so I personally am not at uni. I'm doing an apprenticeship, or did an apprenticeship to be factually accurate. And so it's interesting because, as I mentioned, I was at a uni over the weekend with a friend, and now I'm here, and it's interesting because there's a very different atmosphere to it. There are people, and they're all sort of, uni students are the ones organising everything. They drive everything.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
And it's really interesting to see because they're sort of between the ages of 19 and 24 or whatever, generally.
Some even above that.
Exactly, and they are sort of working together to organise everything, and it's really great. And it's interesting because you look at sort of older people and they're like, these kids can't do anything. And then you look at uni and you're like, this is an entire community that is run by 19 to 24-year-olds, and it's amazing. I
mean, especially in this campus as well, we feel quite secluded, like our own area, really, our own little private village.
Yes, it is. I got an Uber here, and it was a bit sketchy at first because I was like, where are we going?
Yeah,
and I had no idea.
Small roads and so on like that. Yeah. Anyway, we're coming up to the end now. It was a pleasure to have you here.
It was an absolutely wonderful, amazing experience being here. Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
Hopefully you'll be able to come next week as well.
Yeah,
it's been such a pleasure having you. Unfortunately,
here.
I won't be able to come, but Saeed...
I can be the guest host for when one of you two aren't free.
The box in the cardboard box, will come over and destroy everything.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah. He still calls me the Salmon Swordsman. I am the Salmon Swordsman, and this is good night. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Have a good night.